Hello, listeners. My name is Charles Scott. The name of the program is Can We Talk? We come to you on a weekly basis to give you information as to what's happening within the community and to give you some tips that may assist you in some of the daily going abouts that you do and also dealing with real estate. My name again is Charles Scott. I am the broker for Tri-State Realty here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And today I'm going to give you some information pertaining to what's happening out there in the marketplace. So if you want to get informed and you may know of a friend or someone out there that's looking to find out more about what's happening in the real estate market, you might want to give them a call, sit down with a pad and pencil. Every week I try to give you informative information that's going to assist you, whether you're renting or whether or not you're buying or whether or not you're selling. This is an informative program in which we basically give you information and put it out there on a weekly basis as to what's occurred in the past and also possibly what we can look at in our crystal ball and give you an idea, maybe some of the future prognosis of what's happening in not only real estate but also the economy, so that it can help you and inform you in some of the decisions that you're making out there in your daily lives. From the last time that I spoke to you, I spoke about what's happening as far as the marketplace with the renters. I gave you information as to if you're renting, some of the things that you need to do to probably put you at the top of the list for helping you get a rental out there, because the rental market is becoming increasingly tight. And also I told you what you need to do as far as your credit, as far as filling out an application, and what a landlord is looking for if you are a prospective candidate to rent an apartment. Today I'm going to switch around a little bit and talk about if you're out there and you're possibly looking to sell your property or how to improve your property, even if you're not looking to even sell the property. I was reading recently that one of the biggest growth in stocks right now is Home Depot, Lowe's, and home improvements. There's a tremendous amount of home improvement going on, and I'll give you an idea as to some of the things that you can do to improve the value of your current home. So this is something that you need to do. A lot of people go out there and they may improve the home thinking that certain things give it a lot of value when they could be doing other smaller things which will actually give it more value. When someone's going out there and they're looking for a property, the first thing they look at is bedrooms and size. So in some cases there's not too much you can do with your bedrooms. If you have a 2-bedroom house, well, you can't say it's a 3-bedroom house, but there are certain things that individuals are doing. Years ago, individuals would basically be looking for, more space, the more better, but with that comes higher taxes, and with that comes also more upkeep. So what can you do if you've got a 2-bedroom house and you want to be able to make it more attractive, maybe to a larger family? In many cases, many of the 2-bedrooms might have a living room and a dining room. So what I tell a lot of my clients is that, well, if you cannot afford a 3-bedroom, and if your budget is such that the allowable amount is keeping you in that 2-bedroom specter, you might want to become creative. Maybe take a 2-bedroom with a living room and a dining room and convert the dining room into a bedroom. Years ago, we had living room, dining room, and at the end of the evening, the perfect family all get together and discuss, what happened to them and doing the homework and sat around the dining room table and everyone ate. Well, today, I don't know of too many families that sit around the dining room and eat. So the dining room is more decorative. It's a room that you put your mail and you put other items, maybe put a flower pot up there or whatever, but it's people, your family's in and out, in and out, in and out. So a lot of people, what they've done is they've converted that dining room into a bedroom, and in many cases it's fairly easy to do by just putting a couple of doors there. You still have your living room, you still have your kitchen, you have your two bedrooms upstairs, especially if it's a cape. A cape is usually a house where, you know, it's the V-shaped house. The roof is kind of V-shaped. You have your 2 bedrooms upstairs and possibly one downstairs, or either a living room and a dining room. So what you can do is take that dining room, turn it into another bedroom, and guess what? Now you've got a 3-bedroom house or a house that you're using as a 3-bedroom, even though it's still a 2-bedroom. But it's a way of being creative, and if you only have a 2-bedroom, it makes it more attractive to a buyer. I recently just this week put a house on the market, and it was a 2-bedroom house, but to make it more attractive, we said it's a 2-bedroom, possibly a 3, with a bonus room and room to expand. So therefore, it makes it more appealing to someone who's looking for that 3-bedroom house. Now, as I started out saying, what's happening recently is that in the marketplace, the home improvement suppliers, their stock is going up quite a bit. Many people are out there, you know, they're at home, so therefore they find things to do. They go, and before everyone was working in the office, going back and forth, you know, some cases people spend an hour to go to work, they spend another hour to come home, and they leave early in the morning, they come home in the evening, and they're tired and it's dark. So many people are working from home, and what they're doing is they're converting their house into a working space. In many cases, people have the in-home office. I know a lot of people now that only go into the office maybe 1 or 2 days a week, or some may not be going into the office at all. So if you're in that case, you've converted maybe one of the rooms in your home, or maybe the porch, or enclose the deck into your own private office. So the home improvement stock is really going up a lot. What I'm going to do today is to give you some ideas as what you can do to improve the value of your home without spending a tremendous amount of money. Let's start with maybe the outside. Curb appeal is some of everything. So if you pull up in front of your house, what do you see? Well, first thing you see is the grass. And in many cases, I tell people, you know, check out your grass and improve the grass. You can go and get your different turf builder, dig up all of the bald spots or the spots that, you know, are basically the grass is all browning, and you can get the food for the grass. It's grass fertilizer. You can put that there. There's even something that recently I bought. It's called a greener grass. It actually makes the color of the grass darker. How it works, I don't know, but you know, I watched people on TV talk about it, and I've Googled it on YouTube. And you spread it out, and you do it when it's not when the sun is out, and when it rains and everything, and the nutrients go into the grass and they turn the grass darker. So it makes it look like you got that nice, dark, firm grass. The other thing I found out is that, you know, don't cut the grass too high, because then what happens is the tips of the grass tend to burn, and it takes more to pull the nutrients from the ground all the way up to the tip of the grass. Cut it kind of low so that the grass will actually insert the nutrients and grow a lot better, and water the grass. So now when you pull up, you know, your grass looks really nice. The outside of the house, you can improve it by if there's chip paint, or you have a lot of defective areas of the property on the outside, you can repaint it. A good thing is, recently had a client who had a 3-family house, and if you took a picture of before and after, it's night and day. And one of the ingenious things that we did on that particular house was We took one of the shingles, it was shingles on the outside of the house, to Home Depot or one of the other places out there, and they can analyze the color so that they can match up the color like almost 95% exact. And so we matched up the color of the paint, and we got a gallon of paint, and had the worker touch up all of the paint on the outside. Mind you, did not paint the entire house, just the areas that needed paint. And if you stepped back from the house, you'd never even know that those areas were the areas that were imperfect. It made it look like the whole house had been touched up. So this is a way that you could do that with your house. You can take something as small as a penny, a little piece of the old paint, into a paint store. They'll put it under like an X-ray machine, and they'll make a color and mix it so that it almost perfectly matches the color that you have on the outside. So now you can paint only the areas that you need to paint. Sometimes the sun comes across and the sun only hits those areas that are not shaded, and it makes the paint dry up and chip. So that's an easy fix for doing the outside of your house, and it will add thousands of dollars of value to your house without you having to do a full-fledged painting. The other thing you can do, I had another client recently, I suggested that they put siding up, vinyl siding. In that particular case, they were thinking about painting, but the outside of the house was kind of deteriorating to the point of where there would have to be a lot of replacement of the tiles, a lot of scraping and whatnot. So in that particular case, it was much easier to put new siding up on the outside of the house. Or in some cases, you don't have to side the entire house. You could side a portion of the house, the upper part, paint the lower part. You can get creative. In other words, anything is going to look a lot better than just leaving it the way it is. And like I said, this is if you want to add value or if you want to sell your house. What a lot of people do is they have me come out and look at the house, and they want me to analyze it. And I think I do a lot of that, and I give them ideas. And they say, give me an idea of what I have to do to increase the value of my house. And they may want to sell, they may not want to sell. In some cases, they may want to refinance the house to get a lower rate. So therefore, remember, when the gentleman comes out or the bank comes out to refinance your house, they're going to send the appraiser out. So if they send the appraiser out, then the appraiser is going to give a value of the property. And when you refinance the house, in some cases, they will only refinance it for a certain percentage of the value of what it's worth. So if I can show you how you can improve the value before you call the appraiser out there, then it's going to make it look a lot better. For example, let's say you're selling your car and you bring it into a used car dealer and you want to trade it in. It's all muddy and tires and rims are all muddy. The inside looks a mess. Or let's say you take it to the car wash, have it detailed and shine it all up, do the tires, vacuum the inside out, bring that same car. You're going to get a completely different value. And what did it cost you? Maybe $100, maybe $100 to add $1,000 of value. So we're doing the same thing here. Only thing is we're talking about a house. So these are some of the things that you can do to increase the value of that particular house. This is on the outside of the house. The other thing that you want to do is, if you've got the older windows, you might want to paint the outside of the windows and some of the chip paint. Eliminate the chip paint, scrape it down a little bit, paint the outside of the windows, and this is going to improve the value greatly. One other thing when we're talking about the outside that also I've recommended that someone do recently, and it worked out fantastic, because the appraiser was coming out, and I said, you definitely got to paint that deck that you've got and the garage in the back. In a situation like that, the garage was it was just terrible. The garage had a lot of chip paint. I don't think it had been painted in 30 years, 40 years. And the deck was just as bad. And if you looked at the pictures of before and after, it's like night and day. And after it's painted, you'd never know what it looked like originally. And sure enough, the appraiser came out, and there was a couple of spots in the front porch that he pointed out that needed to be painted. But imagine if he had seen the deck before it had gotten painted. And in that particular case, you know, what the person did is they power washed the deck, and scraped some of the paint, and, you know, rolled a coat of paint on the outside. So it was like a matter of night and day. And these are some things that you can do to improve the value of your property. And if you spend $500, it can improve the value by $5,000 or even more. So whether you're selling, whether you're refinancing, whether you just want your property to look good in general, these are some things that you can do on the outside of the property. Now, going inside the house, there's other things that you can do. For example, I tell a lot of people too, just like you're watching me tonight or today, depending upon when they run the tape here, you can go on YouTube. If there's something that you don't know how to do, man, you can Google YouTube today and you can find out just about anything that you want to know. You can go on YouTube, Google how to paint, how to put hardwood flooring down, how to do sheetrock, how to repair holes in sheetrock. I mean, it's amazing the things that you can do on YouTube, and they show you the creative ways of doing it. You know, I remember last year I had a property had a hole in the sheetrock, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we got to go and cut and replace the entire hole in the sheetrock, and it's not a matter of the cost of the sheetrock. Sheetrock doesn't cost that much, even though it's going up, maybe about $15, $20, and for a 4x8 sheet of sheetrock. But it's not the cost, but the labor, the time, the dust. And I watched on YouTube, and what I saw made it so simple. They took a piece of paper, and they just traced the jagged edges of the hole and made like an outline. They took a piece of paper, put it up there, and traced around it, and now the piece of paper had the outline. It's like a piece of puzzle. Then they took that piece of paper, put it on top of the sheetrock, took a pencil and traced the piece of sheetrock, cut the piece of sheetrock out exactly like that cracked hole and the jagged edges of the hole, and placed it right inside there, and put the putty and sanded it down and painted it. And I was like, wow, that's ingenious. Instead of replacing the entire piece of sheetrock, by doing it that way, it's like 1/5 the time, looks just as good. You don't have to worry about all of the nails, the dust, the dirt, and all of that. You just inserted it like a piece on a puzzle. Think of it that way. Sand it down and paint it. So you see, and I got that idea from watching YouTube. So there's many things that you can do by watching YouTube. So inside the house, let's say we're going to improve the inside of the house. You know, watching this segment is something like watching this old house. I'm going to give you some ideas as to what you can do to improve your house to make it more valuable if you're looking to resell it, or if you're going to refinance it, or again, like I said, if you just want to improve the house to make it better for your own thoughts and people coming over. So if there's holes in the sheetrock or items like that, you can putty them, spackle them, and you can paint them. The other thing they have out there is if you had let's say the ceiling was dripping and you got brown stains, there's a paint, and then there's what they call easy kill. Easy kill is where a lot of times people will paint over a brown stain, and it still is going to bleed through. You still look up, there it is again. You paint it again, there it is again. So they have easy kill. It comes in a quart, a pint, a gallon, or what I like is that there's a ceiling that had a slight leak in it, and they have a aerosol spray can. But instead of the can spraying out at a forward, it goes up in the air. So you aim it up at the ceiling, you put a drop cloth down on your carpet or on your hardwood floors, and you aim it up and you spray it. There you go. And then you paint it. The other thing that they have is the popcorn. Now we call it popcorn because years ago, you know, it was popular. It's a porous looking surface. A lot of the ceilings had the popcorn ceilings. And back in the old days, if you're a landlord and you have the ceilings and the ceilings are cracked, one of the things they used to do is they would spray the ceiling with the popcorn paint, and it would give it a nice design, but yet hide all of the cracks. And it looked, you know, expensive. Like in those days, people today don't really like the popcorn ceilings that much, but many homes still have it. And because it costs more money to do that versus just a plain flat-looking ceiling, so people actually paid more money for the popcorn ceilings. But today they have spray. It comes in a spray can. You can actually spray it right up on the ceiling, and you can, especially if you got a ceiling that the ceiling could be perfectly intact, but it's just over the years got cracks in it. So you could put that popcorn paint up there, and it makes a nice design. The other thing people used to do is they would take the putty. They would smear the putty up on the ceiling and get a sponge, and take the sponge and make circular designs. And you'd go into someone's home and it'd be all of these circular designs up in the ceiling. And craftsmen used to do that. So people would actually pay more money for that. But if you've got an older house, maybe it's a rental, and you want to decorate it up and not spend a tremendous amount of money taking down the ceilings, it's a quick fix, looks nice and attractive. So that's another way. What I'm trying to do is to give you some ideas to be creative and to fix up your house without spending a tremendous amount of money. And there's different types of paint that you can get. And you can, same thing on the inside. You can have some walls that get a lot of wear and tear, and some walls that you would never know. They're like completely brand new. You can take and match that paint up and paint those walls that need all of the wear and tear. And there's different types of paint too. You know, there's the enamel, there's the gloss, there's the flat. You know, you got to get familiar with these terms when you are fixing up your house, or if you're buying a multi-family house and you want to improve that multi-family house. You've got to get familiar. I'm amazed at some people that buy rental property, multi-family homes, and they don't have a clue as to repairs because they've rented all their life, and so they don't know anything about different types of paints. And you know, when I was 23 years old, I was managing over 13 different apartment buildings, and I had about 8 different apartment buildings with tenants, and I was, you know, you find out quick, on the ground training, how to do things when you're working from morning to night and dealing with fixing up properties, and you want to keep your tenants happy because, you know, they're the ones paying you. So I always tell everybody, always keep your tenants happy and always be on the site, because there's always something that's going wrong. And by keeping them happy and making repairs instantly and giving them really nice, beautiful apartments, it'll make your life a lot easier. So you learn how to do all of these different things. In those particular days, it was, you know, going around fixing the properties up, making repairs, and you know, constantly being there. So with the paint, there's different types of paint. You know, if you're painting a flat, using a flat paint, then a flat paint it's a dull looking color. In other words, you know, looks nice, but it's not shiny. Back in the old days, they used to have oil paint. Oil paint was extremely resistant because, you know, basically it was oil, but when it took a long time to dry. It stink And it had a smell that you couldn't stand. You had to put up all the windows and wait a couple of days for it to dry because it was basically oil-based. But it was durable. I mean, you could wash it 1,000 times and it looked like brand new, no matter what, no matter how many fingerprints. It was oil-based paint. They don't make that anymore. I don't know if I think they possibly do, but you can't just go in the store and ask for it. They order it for you and all that. They use what they now call gloss or a semi-gloss. A semi-gloss and a gloss, it does basically the same thing, and it's shiny, durable. It's usually good for a multi-family house, and for a family, if you have a lot of children, children, commercials on TV, the washing machine commercials, they're always spilling ketchup on their clothes or coming in, and there's always that commercial where you see where these guys cleaning up the countertop or something spilled. And so if you got walls and the walls are constantly getting fingerprints or getting something on them, gloss and a semi-gloss is a type of paint that you want to use because you could easily just wipe it off and make it a lot easier. And so get familiar with these terms. Go to YouTube, learn the things that you need to do to make your life a lot easier and improve the value of your home. Next time I'm going to continue. I'm going to give you a whole lot more tips as we move through the house. It's like I said, this segment's like a little bit of this old house, but I want to show you how you can improve the value of your house. And this is what I do. Many times people call me up and they say, I want a market analysis. I go out, look through the house, take a pad and pencil, and I point out all the different things in that house that they can do. And it amazes me how people don't do that. There's no fee for that. There's nothing. I'm just giving you my opinion and my experiences of doing this for over 40 years of being out there in the field. So again, I hope I was able to give you some information that will help you no matter what you're looking to do with your particular property at a low cost. And feel free to call me for some suggestions or some ideas to help you no matter what it is that you're looking to do as far as pertaining to real estate or any other ideas or financial that I can assist you in. Again, my name is Charles Scott. I'm the broker for Tri-State Realty. And until next week, God bless.